mindfulness is equivalent to being present with your current situation. So from moment to moment in your life, rather than allowing your mind to wander off into other places, worries, anxieties, tasks that aren't currently present. Part of mindfulness is emptying your mind of those things and contacting your present moment. A study done a few years ago suggested that Americans spend over 50% of their waking hours thinking about things that are not currently active in their environment. And so mindfulness is a way of really kind of, instead of your mind being full of all of your anxieties and fears and all of the rest, is really emptying that and being here in this moment. And the goal of mindfulness is to truly carve away those things that we tend to overly focus on. I have this task due in 2 weeks. I have this, how am I going to pay my bills? I have relationship problems. The goal is to make us effective in executing our power that we have now, because the only power we really have in life is in the moment, right now. I can do things now that may impact future events, but the solution to those future events is not currently in my world. And so we really want to clear our mind of those things so that we can maximize our relationships right now, maximize our effectiveness in those things we can change right now. It's very similar to, if you hear in a lot of the addiction support groups, they say the serenity prayer. And the serenity prayer is a great activity in mindfulness. Grant me the serenity, to basically give up those things I can't change. Give me the courage to change those things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Those are activities that are very similar to what you do to achieve mindfulness in a moment. Definitely, we're in a time of unprecedented anxiety for everyone between COVID and the racial tensions throughout the country, economic insecurities. All of these things can fill our minds full of so much anxiety, it can paralyze us in the moment. And all of us still have very important things that we have to decide. For example, the thing I've struggled with is staying in the moment from day to day, to stay active and to continue eating healthy. So when I am not in my present moment and I'm focusing on, will I ever get back to work in a normal way? Will I ever be able to have my life the way it was? And all of those anxieties are swirling. Then humans are wired to escape those very painful situations. But unfortunately, rather than trying to stay present in the now, we'll escape to things like, for me, food and watching Netflix. And those things may feel good in the moment because it may temporarily distract me from my anxiety, but overall, over the long term, they are very, very impactful in a negative way for me. Others may do that through substance abuse, through alcohol abuse, through all sorts of ways to escape. And mindfulness helps us stay here, because when we do those things, when we look at those activities in retrospect, we often then have depression and grief that come up with that, because we've acted in a way that's not congruent with who we think we are. So mindfulness is a way to stay anchored in the now, because if I can, that anxiety, that depression, all of those negative feelings make me want to escape feeling that way. And we become conditioned in our lives to escape it through things that aren't healthy for us, but that feel good in the moment. So mindfulness is a way to clear my mind of that, to sit in my pain with openness and non-judgment, and then decide what choice can I make in this situation that is most in line with my values and who I say I am. Parenting is very demanding. It's a very hard job, even when your child is perfectly behaved. So the stressors and all of the tensions of parenting, getting your kids from place to place, making sure that they're well fed, making sure that they've done their homework. All of these things are stressful. Now you tack onto that the real challenges that you face raising a child, especially in the digital age now. Those things can get us out of our present moment, and we start to worry. I found myself just this weekend scouring through my 11-year-old's phone with the worry that someone that I don't know is online trying to interact with my daughter. And what ended up happening was I could feel myself and my anxiety getting to a level that was going to cause me to lash out at my daughter, who had really not done anything wrong. But all of those anxieties, I need, if I live in that, I feel like I have to have a release from that and an escape from that. Mindfulness allows me to sit with that for a moment and say, here are the things that I value about my daughter and about being her father. And this way that I'm feeling right now is diametrically opposed to those values. So am I going to move in the way that I want to move right now? And it's very important I don't judge that, because then I can start getting into, I'm a terrible father, I'm a terrible person. No, I'm a human being. And I'm feeling a certain way under a multitude of stressors that come from parenting. But if I can learn to stop, to recognize that moment, I call it with our staff the choice point. I recognize I am now having to attend to my present moment, meaning I'm about to lose it. And if I do that, am I going to move in this way that might feel good in the moment and might remove certain stressors? Or am I going to stay right in that course because of the values I've established for myself as a parent? And so mindfulness is the crucial first step into handling the multiple stressors that parents face every day. So many parents, whether their child has a disability or not, when I talk to parents, I hear them share, oh, I can't believe I spanked my child. I can't believe I raised my voice at my child. I can't believe, or the worst that I've seen are the parents who emotionally withdraw from their children and then start to allow this distance to grow between them and their child, that child that can sometimes start in the preteen years. Mindfulness is not the cure-all, but it's the first step toward not allowing those things to happen, to focus on keeping the relationship between the parent and the child as healthy as possible. Some activities that parents can use in their moment. The biggest one is to first learn what I call awareness training, which kind of comes from the area of habit reversal. Folks who have tics and other kinds of repetitive behaviors, is the parents first need to learn, this is what it feels like when I start to lose my present moment. This is how my heart rate feels, this is how my respirations feel, this is how I notice my body feeling. And so one of the things that we tell people to do is, instead of saying, or parents especially, instead of saying, I'm angry, or even I feel angry, we tell them to say, I notice that I am thinking about being angry. Because now we start to separate themselves. And one of the overall goals of this whole endeavor is to help parents and children learn that you are not your pain. You are a human being. Your pain is something that is a result of your experience. And if you can now start to treat it that way, to say, I am not angry, I notice that my mind is saying angry things right now. I notice that my body feels in a certain way that in the past has seemed angry. Now they can start on the process of detangling themselves, we call it diffusion, untangling themselves from their psychological pain and really start to live right in this moment, and then ask themselves, what is the next right thing I can do right now? So there's a book, I believe, was written by a retired Army general. I think it's called Making Your Bed, or something to do with starting your day with making your bed. Sometimes it's just that, is close your eyes for a moment. When you feel these things that have been associated with your loss of present moment awareness, close your eyes, notice 5 things that you can hear, 5 things that you can smell, 5 things that you can taste, 5 things that you can feel. Open your eyes, look in your current environment and say, what is the next thing I can do to affect positive change right now, not any of this other stuff. And so those are some of the simple activities. When it comes to detangling from their pain, sometimes parents can just talk about that. Sometimes they have to have an anchor to help them with. I've had some parents where we've talked about, hey, my child acts this way, I become really angry. Okay, you're not angry, you're having anger and angry thoughts. And so we may take a doll, like an angry monster doll, and say, let's give this a name, and that is your anger. It's not you. And we might put it right on them at first because that's how they are. They are completely bought into their pain. It is part of who they think their identity is. And so then we start to have them interact with this doll, as silly as that sounds, while we gradually move it farther and farther and farther to while now it's on the other side of the room. That's not you, that's a thing that's part of your life, but it's not you. And when you depersonalize your pain in that way, you're able to then be even better prepared. Now your mind is focused on the present moment. You've now detangled yourself from your pain. Now you're ready to start asking yourself, who am I? That's your values-based thinking. Who am I? Who do I say I am? And then what's the next right thing I can do right now?